are playing Jeskai Black, and these are 2, and one of them will be in the elimination rounds later this evening. We're underway here in round number 15. Anderson starts things off with the Prairie Stream, as does Betts. And we're underway. Round 15, the last Swiss round of the day before we cut the top 8. See which one of these players joins Tom Ross, Aaron Barrich, and Bradley Carpenter in our elimination rounds.
Looks like Todd's got lands and spells.
I don't know what's happening. Doesn't make any sense. Anderson going to sacrifice the Flooded Strand. We'll see if he wants to go with basic or Battle Land here. He'll go with Battle Land in in Sunken Hollow. No Smoldering Marsh just yet. Now, Anderson last weekend, he lost playing for top 8 when he was playing that Abzan aggro deck that him and the team from Roanoke did play. Tom Ross able to make top 16 with that deck. Now Tom is already in the top 8, and Todd trying to get there with his good friend and travel partner as well. There is a basic mountain. Mana appears to be online for most spells for the old Jeskai Black deck now.
Hit the blue-black duel very nice in that regard.
Yep. And now it's a Mantis Rider. Betts is going to sacrifice Polluted Delta. We'll see if he has an answer to the 3/3 flyer.
Do not see any in his list.
Yeah, not going to find, looks like, Draconic Roar or a card like Horley or Rye here. So it looks like he's going to take 3, searching up a Smoldering Marsh as he falls down to 16. So now we will head back Betts' way. He's going to go with a Flooded Strand. See what land he wants to search up. Seems like island or plains ideal here as opposed to a battle land.
Worth noting, though, that he cannot, I believe, cannot cast Crackling Doom this turn off of this sequence. Because he has to either get an island or plains. If he gets a plains, he's got white, white, red, or white, white, black.
You're right. You're right. That's awkward. That's that Jeskai mana base at work. Oh, here's Dragon Master Outcast. We've seen this card cause so many problems here this weekend, but not right now.
I don't know if he had Crackling Doom or some other removal spell in hand, but just goes to show you the sequencing with these lands it's very tough, and especially against Mantis Rider, you got to make sure that you're casting your spells on time.
There's a Sunken Hollow. Still can't cast Crackling Doom, and we've said it so many times. Mantis Rider hits you once, you're already in some trouble. It hits you twice, you're in bad news. We got a Mantis Rider that's going to hit him 3 times.
And Todd's hand is just spells.
Yep. One of them is a Sorin Solemn Visitor. Don't know if he wants to cast this turn, or anything for that matter. Right now it's going to be an attack for 6. Betts is going to fall down to 3.
Maybe just Sorin and make a Vampire?
Not a bad option. Make sure you use all your mana. You can play Jason Seeker this turn. Well, it looks like he's going to go with Sorin. Looks like it's going to resolve.
Yeah, I mean, all those plays look about the same to me. I'd rather just use all my mana this turn, I guess.
The Vampire on the way. And that's going to do it just like that. A couple copies of Mantis Rider, and Todd Anderson's deck actually does function on camera for a change.
Congratulations!
He's up a game in the Jeskai Black mirror over Jacob Betts. As these players go to the sideboard, we will do the same. Betts has another copy of Dragmaster Outcast, a Dispel, 3 Disdainful Strokes, a Felidar Cub, 3 Radiant Flames, a Crackling Doom, a Kolaghan's Command, Narset Transcendent, Tragic Arrogance, Salumgar's Command, and Salumgar the Drifting Death.
I think you're likely to see the a second copy of Dragonmaster Outcast and the Dispel coming in this matchup. I think the Crackling Doom is also fine here, and past that you have the ability to sideboard into more of a controlling deck if you want it. I've seen different strategies from different Jeskai Black players. You have cards like Kolaghan's Command, Narset Transcendent, Tragic Arrogance, Slumgar's Command, Slumgar the Drifting Death. Neither of them are necessarily superstars in the matchup, but if you're looking to go a little bit longer, they're all available for Betts.
Well, there's other things here for Anderson. His unique build of Jeskai Black. What's he got on the board?
2 Disdainful Strokes, a Strass Dancer, a Hidden Dragon Slayer, a Dragon Lord Slumgar, 2 Self-Inflicted Wound, 2 Irrational Cleric, 2 Exert Influence, 2 Radiant Flames, another copy of Sorin, and a Mastery Unseen. Like the Mastery, like Sorin, when we watched Todd play this matchup before, he did not bring in the Radiant Flames. I think Exert Influence is justifiable. There's a reasonable number of targets in the matchup, and the additional counter spells into Disdainful Stroke and Stratus Dancer also seem good.
Well, there are the options there for both players. Anderson currently up a game over Betts. Betts will be on the play here for game number 2. But in the meantime, we're talking SCG Game Night, the very popular promotion that you can bring to your store today. And that means you can get some hippos in the door. Absolutely.
And we run Game Night every month. Stores bring it to the store. They set up however they want to. Sanctioned, unsanctioned, any format, any day of the week. Just get players in the store for some fun and friendly magic as we give out these pins and foils. This is the October kit, what you're playing for right now. November coming down the pipeline soon. This is the Otter. And we have the last promo of the year in December, the Reindeer. If you want to get signed up, over at StarCityGames.com/GameNet for more information, or contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
Game number 2 here between Betts and Anderson about to begin as these players are playing for top 8 right now. For Anderson, it would be number 24 as far as top 8s on the Open Series are concerned. He is still leading the pack in that stat. 3 invitational top 8s for him with 1 win in 2012 Season 3 in Atlanta. 4 Grand Prix top 8s as well for the 29-year-old who currently resides in Roanoke, Virginia. But he is born and raised in Alabama, and if you've ever been around him, you know about Roll Tide.
We do.
And I actually was watching. You know, it's no joke with him either. He's not a fan. This is a big deal. He's much bigger than a fan of Alabama.
Oh, and it's a family thing too.
Yeah.
Callie is, if anything, more enthusiastic than Todd during the game watching time. So it's a shared passion.
Callie, of course, the wife of Todd Anderson, the first woman to win an Open Series event. Also fantastic for Star City Games organized play. But Todd, as usual, watching the Alabama game on his phone. During the rounds of the tournament, after he would finish playing, he immediately just go find an area where no one else was to see if Alabama was winning or not. So that's a big deal for him.
Yeah, he sort of said to no one in particular, time to use up all of my phone data, and just sort of wandered off.
I think the Crimson Tide got the job done yesterday. No Baylor game, however. I know that you and I had some interest in that one. I think the spread was 44 points.
Something like that.
I think you said, yeah.
It was something that you would expect to see in a high school game, you know, if people gambled on high school games, which I guess probably people do.
Yeah, it's probably a thing, but we're not saying you should do that, so.
Yeah. No, that's not like when we jokingly, like, you shouldn't. Come on.
Yeah.
It's children. Don't gamble on what they do.
Though, you know, if you're looking for a promotional code for FanDuel, you know, forget it. Forget it. You could probably play on there. There's probably a commercial.
Use promo code Morally Bankrupt. Yeah. Start gambling on some high school sports.
Yep. They'll match your $200 for free. I only know that because how could you not, given how many commercials they run? I don't think they're going to be a sponsor of the Open Series. Probably not.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
No.
Not losing any sleep.
You know, if you are, promo code NewBet, I can get you one of those.
Yeah.
We're underway here in game number 2. Included deltas here for each player. I think Jacob may have missed his second land.
Yeah, he kept 6.
Oh no.
Scry to the bottom.
Okay.
And missed land drop number 2.
Oh no. This is a tough way to go if he's playing for top 8.
I think that Todd is probably a little light on sympathy right now for the set circumstances after the matches we've watched over the last 2 days.
It has been pretty on camera for him. There's no doubt about that.
Todd Peel's perfect here, Jace on 2, and just does not have any sympathy for Jacob.
Searches for a mountain with that Bloodstained Mire, and Jacob looks like he's missed his land drop again. Now, I think he kept a hand with like 1 land Jace. That would make the most sense on his side. Anderson will draw a card. Couple of planes over there, now a mountain as well, so plenty of cards to discard to Jace. He's going to start getting to work.
I've noticed since the Vancouver Scry rule has come into effect, people seem to be a lot more willing to mulligan sketchy 7s and a lot more willing to keep sketchy 6-card hands. It's like, well, I got a Scry, so I can mulligan. And then you look at a sketchy 6, you're like, well, I get to Scry, so maybe this hand will come together. A lot of 6-card hands now.
Yeah. I was already a fan of mulliganing anyway.
I know you love a mulligan.
Yeah. And now this just makes it even easier. It's basically free. Pluto Delta going to search for an island. Swamp was a draw here for Betts this turn. Now there's the Jace that I think he kept his hand off of. However, Anderson's going to sacrifice that Pluto Delta very quickly. You have to imagine Todd's got some sort of answer.
I'm not sure if you're supposed to sit on the Delta for that long. I understand that Betts wants to maximize his chances of drawing a land. So maybe that's the correct thing to do. But now, he rips the land. He has to go fetch for a basic that comes to play on tap. He now has a swamp in play. I know he's got Manus Rider in his hand. So he's got Island Swamp. Neither of these two lands are conducive to casting either Manus Rider or Crackling Doom on time. And so even if he draws well from here, it's going to be a challenge.
A Jace activation. Prairie Stream the draw. Anderson flooding out a little bit here.
Well, he can always do the favorite thing to do against someone land screwed, which is just put creatures on the top of their deck.
Just gotta charm that nonsense back up there.
It's time-honored tradition. Flash it back, do it again.
Mm-hmm. Todd just deciding what land he wants to discard. Looks like he's thinking basic plains. And he is.
Magic used to do a lot more of that at a much higher power level than it does now.
Oh, put your card on top of your deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not particularly pleasant.
It's not fun. You know what's fun? The hope of the draw step.
Well, drawing a new card.
Drawing a new card. Things are going bad, but I got a draw step. Could yield anything.
Big fan.
What is not fun. All right, I guess I'll Chittering Rats your last card in your hand, which is a land, probably back on top of the deck.
Yeah, in your draw step too. So, oh look, you drew a new card. Put it back.
Put it back.
It's one of my favorite decks I ever built.
Guess Memory Lapse your play this turn?
That card's horrible.
that one
card
is rough.
That card is horrible.
All right. Good stuff here from Todd.
Hey, he's going to just charm the Jace back on top, and now he's going to cast a Treasure Cruise. Jace will go up to 6. Cruise is done resolving. Betts his turn. How much fun was that? Put the Jace back in. Don't even bother untapping the lands. I'm really glad that's not an effect they push anymore.
Yeah. Jeskai Charm is about the ceiling for what they do.
Yeah.
And, Jeskai Charm's got other modes, so it's not like that's happening every single game. And they just make more creatures now with triggers when they enter the battlefield or leave the battlefield, and that helps with that mechanic being less powerful too. Jeskai Charm, you can see Rhino's not great in many spots, but still will come up.
Jace is up to 7 now. Anderson's going to sacrifice the polluted Delta. Smoldering Marsh is the land of choice. The one thing here for Anderson, he just doesn't have a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, he did draw 3. I was wondering if maybe Anderson, if he had some way in hand already to kill the Jace, then I think the Treasure Cruise play is fine. I wonder if he was supposed to simply pass the turn, leave himself the ability to Jeskai Charm the Jace the following turn via the Jace flashback, and then Treasure Cruise. I know it's a lot less efficient in terms of mana that turn, but if he misses with the Treasure Cruise, which is essentially what happened, his Jace is not doing anything for the time being.
Well, we head back over to Anderson, who's drawn another land. He might have to consider deploying another Jace now. He's got a Sorin in hand, too. It's not like he doesn't have anything to do, but you figured, given how many lands Jacob missed, given the fact that Todd has cast the Treasure Cruise and activated Jace a bunch, that he would be much further ahead at this point.
Yeah, he's drawn a lot of lands. It's still not that bad for Todd here, as he has the ability to play Sorin and leave up 2 mana for Stratus Dancer. So not a bad consolation prize, but I agree, given how good the start is, Betts missing his second land drop, getting his first play put on top of the deck, it is not the lock you would expect it to be for Todd at this stage.
There's Sorin. It'll start at 4. We'll see if the elevator goes up or down. Jace is going to go up. Sorin's going to go down to make a vampire. And now the Morph will attack here for 2. Back over to Betts we go. Betts is starting to work his way out of these mana issues. He's drawn an island now. His mana doesn't look great, obviously, because he started with Island Swamp, but some timely fetch lands here in Battle Lands, and he could be okay.
It's that classic, someone saw us on lands, someone is drawing too many lands. The pressure's on the person drawing too many lands to be aggressive, because once the person who his missing land drops draws out of it, suddenly their hand's nothing but spells.
Ojutai's command is the discard. There's a Flooded Strand. Betts will pass the turn back. Anderson will draw. Didn't get a great look at it.
I believe Disdainful Stroke was the draw.
Okay.
So at this point, with Stratus Dancer and Disdainful Stroke, Todd is very well covered against spells. He is vulnerable right now, though, to something like Mantis Rider. Could make up some ground here for Betts if he can get to it.
Jace moved up. It's an attack there for 6. Anderson will gain 6 life. 11 to 20. And now we'll see what comes next. To Jace. That's going to sacrifice 2 fetch lands, fall down to 9. I imagine 2 battle lands on the way here to help with this yucky mana.
Mm-hmm.
So Smoldering Marsh and Prairie Stream. Now the mana looks a lot better.
Yeah, checking to make sure Crackling Doom and Jeskai cards can be cast. Answer is yes.
Yep. Here's Ojutai's command. Now, Anderson does have a copy of Disdainful Stroke. He's also got a Stratus Dancer that's a morph, so he's got a couple options on how he wants to go about dealing with this, assuming he even wants to. And the plan is to counter and gain 4 here if you're Betts, but that's not going to work. Disdainful Stroke going to take care of that.
And I think Todd doing that because right now, something he's really worried about is just cheap removal spells. I think he wants to save the Stratus Dancer to be able to counter something like Wild Slash, so going to use the Disdainful Stroke there.
Jace will go up to 9, pass the turn back. Here's an activation of Jace by Betts. He'll draw and discard, and then that card will be flipping. Looks like Mountain is the discard. Now Jace will flip. Here's Mantis Rider. Nash does a nice job taking care of Sorin. Yeah.
And when Sorin off the table, Todd can't really attack.
No. Now there's Tasigur.
And this is about, this turn right here, this is about the worst case scenario for Todd playing Disdainful Stroke last turn. He can't counter the Tasigur. And were the Mantis Rider flipped, or excuse me, if the Stratus Dancer was up and flipped, he could attack into the Mantis Rider. Now, Todd just can't do anything.
Interesting how this game has changed. Jace is going to tick up now, too.
I mean, Betts is ahead right now.
It certainly feels that way. The only thing he's not ahead on is life total. Every other aspect, excuse me, he's doing real well on.
I'm curious now if Todd goes to the emblem. You know, it doesn't require a whole lot of spells for him to be able to win the game that way. It takes a while for Betts to really get any offense going here. Todd's got a lot of life to play with. It doesn't take a whole lot of spells for him to string together for that to be a game-winning line.
It does get scary when you're milling an opponent who has a Jace that's flipped.
It's not, I'm not saying that's great, but you know, you get to make an emblem here. You have your other Jace available. That Jace can flash back a Treasure Cruise.
Looks like Todd's just going to flash back a Treasure Cruise here.
This line of play also allows, part of the reason that I was considering making an emblem here is to allow Todd to do something with the other Jace. This allows him to do the same thing, which is, well, now the graveyard's cleaned out. He doesn't have to worry about the other Jace flipping over, and he can use it as a looter for a little bit, clean up this hand that's full of lands.
Well, there goes Jace. Dispel, Battlefield Forge, Dragonlord Ojutai. He's going to activate Jace. Picked up a Bloodstained Mire. Discard that. I don't think we're going to see him play Dragonlord Ojutai unless he has Dispel mana up.
Too vulnerable to Crackling Doom.
Yeah. Because I can see this turn just playing Sorin and plussing it, but he's just going to hold steady. He's not going to do anything at all.
I think he's waiting for the next turn to fire in with that kind of line.
Jace is going to tick up. Slow down that Vampire. Here come the attacks. We'll see where they're going. And it looks like they're going towards Jace, and Todd's going to very quickly let that go. So, Betts is starting to catch up here. That's for sure.
Oh, again, he's ahead.
Yeah. A lot of cards in hand, too. Anderson draws a mountain for the turn. He'll activate Jace. 2 cards in the graveyard. Looks like he picked up a copy of Silk Wrap.
Not bad.
Yeah. Gonna discard Bloodstained Mire. That's just waiting patiently. I'm gonna react to whatever Anderson does. Anderson going to reorganize the mana. I think it might be Ojutai time. This will be a land for the turn. And now here is Dragonlord Ojutai. I got a thumbs up very quickly.
And a thumbs up that quickly most likely means Crackling Doom.
Here's Stasis Snare. Looking at Mantis Rider off the battlefield. And now the Morph is going to come into the red zone. And Todd says, I'm going towards you. I'm not going to worry about Jace. Here's Crackling Doom. I think we'll see that Dispel now. Actually, we'll see Stratus Dancer.
Yep, okay. Get more power to another flyer into play.
Leave the card in your hand.
Yep, Betts gets to flash it back, but, Betts is jammed up on mana right now, and he's got plenty of cards in hand, so if he doesn't flash back the Crackling Doom, he's got other things to do with his mana, so it's not that bad for Todd to let him flash it back here.
Can Jacob work out of the mana issues that he had earlier in the game? He's done a nice job of getting himself back into the game, that's for sure. Don't even know if we expected him to make it this far. Tasker's going to come into the red zone. Oh, here's the Crackling Doom. That's going to take your Dragonlord Ojutai. Anderson will take 2 as well. And now Jace will move up. We're going to slow down Stratus Dancer. And now we're going to head back Anderson's way. He's got a whole bunch of lands he's got to untap. He's also got an active Jace. There are 4 cards in the graveyard, giving Ojutai's death to Crackling Doom. Anderson will draw. Picked up a Wild Slash.
And this might give Todd just a route to lethal this turn between Sorin and the Wild Slash.
Dispels protection too.
Yep.
In case anything
Plus,
goes wrong.
go beat downs with Jace.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. Every angle covered by you. Is that a remember a combination?
This is a combination.
Yeah.
I think this is exactly lethal, assuming nothing goes Nothing goes awry. Yeah.
Nah, you wanted it, but you're not going to get
I
it.
think he's just going to loot and then flash it back, and which is probably safer, but way less cool.
Wild Slash will get the job done. As Todd Anderson's going to win this match over Jacob Betts 2-0. Jeskai Black, it's moving on to the top 8. It's just going to be in the hands of Todd Anderson, who's got another Open Series top 8 on his resume. So congratulations to him, as his deck finally does perform pretty well on camera. You can toss him into the top 8. That also includes Bradley Carpenter, Tom Ross, and Aaron Barrich.